In today's video, I'm going to show you how to avoid these home buying mistakes in 2023. With these 5 pro tips, you will not be lost as a first-time home buyer or investor. What's up, fam? This is Agent Seth Banks. In this video, you'll get 5 pro tips to put you ahead of the game of this current home buying market. For more experienced home buyers, stick around to the end for some bonus tips. Tip number 1 is going to be getting pre-approved early. There's no need to wait last minute if you have a lease ending. Nobody wants to be stressed out, rushing, trying to get pre-approved and close in enough time before you have to move out your current spot. Most realtors don't even want to show you a house if you aren't pre-approved. Nobody wants to waste time with somebody that might be able to buy a house when we have to work with so many clients. It just saves everybody time if you go ahead and get pre-approved. And then if you aren't, at least you can find out what you have to do and you can better prepare for the next time you want to purchase. Approvals last for about 3 months, and it takes around 21 to 45 days to close depending on what kind of loan you have. So just getting your pre-approval early, like I've been saying, just helps save everybody time, let you know what your budget is, like I said, let you properly prepare for those 21 to 45 days so you're not rushing, you're not stressed out, and then that way everybody can make it to the closing table and you get a property. For tip number 2, you want to make sure that you have some money saved up. Outside of the down payment that you have with the FHA or a conventional loan, you also have to pay for a home inspection, an appraisal, and closing costs. So outside of all of the expenses that you have with the home buying process that I just named, you want to make sure you have a good amount of money saved up, like I said, so that way you don't fully zero out your account and have to struggle with bills after buying a property. Nobody wants to go through that. It's also important to have your money saved up because a lot of times a property isn't going to be perfect unless you have new construction, and even sometimes there might be a slight flaw. So you might want to do some updates to your property. So having some money saved up outside of the expenses that I named will also benefit you in making your home feel like home. Tip number 3 is going to be find out and use your benefits. What I mean by this is if you have a credit union as a bank, sometimes they cover your down payment, your closing costs, and maybe even your appraisal. I know in North Carolina, we have State Employees Credit Union. What they do, they will cover your down payment if you are a first-time home buyer, and it will cover up to $2,000 of your closing costs. So if you do have questions about that in North Carolina, feel free to DM me on any of my social media handles, and I can definitely help you out. If you are not in this area, just ask one of your local realtors. If you don't have one, I'm sure I can find one for you. I know realtors all over, and we can definitely see what your credit union can do for you. Another loan that is out there that I know is a benefit is a loan that is for veterans or people that work in the Air Force or the Navy. It is a VA loan. Basically what that is a loan that covers 100% of your down payment. Not necessarily the closing costs, but it is a very good loan for people that are veterans. So if you are one, I definitely recommend checking that benefit out for yourself as well. The last benefit that I have for you guys is for first-time home buyers. If you are somebody that never purchased a property before and you want to get into home buying, but you don't have a lot of money, there are classes, local classes that you can take where they'll give you 10, 20, whatever it is, $1,000 in your market to go towards your down payment or your closing costs. So if you have questions about that, reach out to me. I can have one of my lenders reach out to you, get you into one of these programs, take your 8-hour course for a weekend, and get your certification. So tip number 4 is going to be hire a good realtor. Do your research on your realtor. Are they working for your best interest? Does it feel like it? Do they have a lot of reviews? Do they have good word of mouth? Do you see people who use them and purchase properties and are successful? These are important questions that you want to ask yourself and your realtor to see if you two are going to be a good fit. If this is a new realtor, is this somebody that you have always trusted? If it's somebody you just met online, do they work for a good brokerage? Do they work for a broker in charge that's actually going to hold their hand and help them throughout the transaction? These are very important things that you need to know, because I know when I was a new realtor, my broker in charge pretty much helped me with writing offers, how to negotiate, how to say certain things at a certain time. So you need to make sure that this new realtor that you might be in contact with also has good mentoring, because nobody wants a bad home buying experience. And if your realtor doesn't have any of these qualities or can't answer none of those questions that I just stated, then good luck on buying a house, because they might not be a good fit for you. Tip number 5 is going to be to clean up and keep up with your credit. Some lenders out there can get you pre-approved for as low as a 580 credit score, but sometimes having a score that low, you might get an interest rate or a monthly mortgage payment that you don't like. So usually the higher your credit score, the better. Don't buy a new car. Don't miss out on no monthly payments. Don't miss out on none of your credit card bills or anything like that, because doing so can possibly mess up your qualifications and get you unapproved. And believe me, I've seen a lot of crazy situations like that happen. You also don't want to close out any accounts either, because if you close out an account, that can actually negatively impact your score a little bit. So keep everything open, keep up with your payments, and I promise you'll be good. By the way, if you are enjoying this content, please consider dropping a like, leaving a comment, or subscribing to my channel. That'll help me out a lot as I push out more content. As I stated earlier in this video, if you are a more experienced home buyer, here are the bonus tips. Bonus tip number 1 is going to be to always make your best offer first. Now, of course, if you're looking at a cheaper deal and the house has been sitting on the market for 30, 40, 50, 60 plus days, now obviously you don't have to make your best offer first, but this is for the homes that have sat on the market for 1, 2, maybe even 3 days, or let's just say less than a week. A seller's not going to accept an offer $20K below his asking price. A lot of the times, if it's been that fast, they're going to want to see something at least at the asking price, even if you're asking for some closing costs. So make sure that you always give your best offer, so that way the seller will actually be more willing to negotiate and not just telling you to make another offer. Another reason why you want to always give your best offer is because you might be in a bid war. If the house sat on the market for 20 days and the seller dropped their price $10K, everybody's going to see that price drop. And even if the house sat for a while and you try to give them a lower offer, they might get some other offers that are going to actually be more acceptable. So make sure you're always in that column of possibilities and just make a strong offer. Bonus tip number 2 is going to be to get a home inspection. Please get a home inspection. Let a professional look at your house. Let them go from the roof all the way down to the crawl space. Find out every little tick about the house, so that way you can look at your report and see what you like and don't like, and if you need to renegotiate anything. Bonus tip number 3 is going to be to plan for a higher or a lower appraisal. If a property appraises for higher than what you're under contract with the seller, you can use that new higher price to renegotiate a repair or to get some closing costs if you need. If the appraisal comes back lower, you want to make sure that you're properly prepared to renegotiate again, because a lot of times a seller doesn't want to go under the amount that they signed off for. Like if they wanted $300,000 and you offer $300,000, they're going to want that $300,000. But if it appraises to $295,000, they might ask for that $5K difference. They might take away some closing costs. So just be prepared to negotiate further and have a good strategy, which is why it's important to hire a good realtor, because I can help you with that. So the last and final tip that I have for you guys, the last bonus tip number 4 is going to be prepared to sign your life away. And I say this because you're going to be signing a lot of documents from your realtor, especially if you're not winning off your first few offers. You're going to probably write a few offer to purchases to get your property. Of course, you're going to have to speak with the lender. You're going to have to sign documents with them. And then once we get to closing day, you're going to have to sign a lot of documents from the attorney. So just be prepared to sign a lot of stuff. So that's the end of the video, everybody. If you like what you've seen, please drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. I have more videos that I'll be pushing out soon, so feel free to watch some of my other videos. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to DM me on any of my social media